Here lies Arthur, king who was and king who will be. So reads the inscription on King Arthur's gravestone in Thomas Malory's Le Mort d'Arthur. Writing in the 15th century, Malory couldn't have known how prophetic this inscription would turn out to be. King Arthur has risen again and again in our collective imagination, along with his retinue of knights, Guinevere, the Round Table, Camelot, and of course, Excalibur. But where do these stories come from? And is there any truth to them? King Arthur, as we know him, is a creation of the later Middle Ages, but his legend actually has its roots in Celtic poetry from an earlier time, the Saxon invasions of Britain. After the Romans left Britain in 410 CE, Saxon invaders from what's now Germany and Denmark quickly capitalized on the vulnerability of the abandoned territory. The inhabitants of Britain fought fiercely against the invaders through several centuries of turmoil. There are hardly any written records from this time, so it's difficult to reconstruct an accurate history. However, surviving poetry from the era gives us some clues. One of the poems, the Gododin, contains the very first reference to Arthur, though Arthur himself doesn't actually appear in it. It says a different warrior, named Guarda, was skilled at slaying his enemies, but was no Arthur. That's not much to go on. But whoever this Arthur was, he must have been the gold standard of warriors. Whether he ruled anyone, or even lived at all, is unfortunately less clear. Despite this uncertainty, references to Arthur caught the attention of an aspiring historian hundreds of years later. In 1130, Geoffrey of Monmouth was a lowly cleric with grand ambitions. Using Celtic and Latin sources, he spent years creating a lengthy chronicle titled The History of the Kings of Britain. The centerpiece of this tome was King Arthur.